Okay, recording is on. Yeah, we can proceed with the mid-cycle. Next topic is one down failure design. Mida?
Yeah, 1 minute, I'll share my screen.
Yep, please go ahead.
My screen is visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we will be discussing about the one node down failure. So the problem was that we were creating lifts per node. So if any one node is down, the lift creation will fail and the entire share server creation would fail. Even though we have this concept of HA pair in ONTAP. So if one node is down, the other one can take over. So few months back we created one patch, but there were issues. What we were doing was we were still trying to create lifts on the healthy nodes itself. But in that case, the issue was like sometimes the node may come up, the count. There was issue with the count allocation counts, or we were calling multiple times some methods and aggregate related issues were there. So that's why we decided to come up with two approaches, and based on that we will proceed. So we have a short term approach, which is like we will create lift per HA pair, not the node. So place the lift on whichever node in that pair is currently up. So it's like we will find the aggregate, and based on the aggregate we will take out the partner, the HA pair, and whichever node is up right now, we will create the lift in that node. And this get network allocation number, it will return us the number of HA pairs. So the count will be stable. So I've put one example here of 8 node cluster which has 4 HA pairs. So at max we will have 4 lifts and 4 IPs will be consumed. So first scenario is like if all the nodes are up, we will be able to create 4 lifts and IPs 4 and everything will be successful. Second scenario is if in one of the HA pair, one node is down. So in that case, we will create the lift on the healthy node, means N2, and the rest other HA pairs, it will remain as it is. So there was one question from Gautam on that what happens if N1 comes back up? So means usually it's like when N1 comes back up, ONTAP automatically performs a give back, and N1 reclaims its aggregates from the N2, but the lift will still stay on the home node on which it was created. So that is N2. But from Manila side, there will be no action. It will be as it is. And second case is if in one HA pair, both N1 and N2 are down. So in that case, we will simply throw the error saying that share server, at that time it will fail. And our long-term approach was that instead of creating the lifts upfront at the SVM setup time, we will create the lifts at the share creation time itself. So only on the HA pair that owns the aggregate for that specific share, the lift will be, and only if the lift does not already exist there, we will create. If the lift is already present, then we will just reuse it. So how it will work is we will identify the aggregate from the shares volume. From the aggregate, we will get to know the HA pair, and we will check if SVM already has a lift on that HA pair. If it is already present, we will just reuse it, and if it's not present, we will create a lift on the healthy node and continue there. So from here, on the ONTAP side, we will be able to the IP consumption will be less. So here also there was one comment from Gautam that from the neutron or network port, the allocation happens upfront, which is correct. But since from ONTAP side, it will happen at that time itself. So there we will be reducing some IPs there. So there will be no upfront topology scan at the SVM creation, which will avoid the race with health node. And this get network allocation, this will still return us the HA pairs count. And whatever unused pre-allocated IPs, that will be released when SVM is deleted. So there is a comparison of the IP consumptions and lift consumptions here, which we have presented. So we wanted to know Like, if this is fine, should we proceed with short-term approach or long-term approach, or because long-term will take some time. There will be more refactoring and code changes in the second approach.
Krish.
Yeah. So yeah, Gautam. So there is few customer actually they are waiting for this fix actually means they are hitting this issue in their environment when one node HA player is one node of HA player is going down. So even I think SVM creation is failing because of I think existing behavior of creating the lift in the different each node. So as of now, actually we decided actually to come up with means fix this issue with the first approach, and the future also will come with means more optimized way means based on the availability of the share creation, and then we will creating the lift based on that. So yeah, so unblock the customer. So we are thinking we'll first at least give them some fix, so they will kind of unblock, and then in future we'll work on the second approach. And so you want to hear your opinion on here, Gautam, Carlos, or you can have offline and see the.
Yeah,
Folks,
sorry.
I mean, uh,
Go ahead.
have you folks already gotten some code patch up and get it by any chance, or you were just trying to brainstorm the solution here?
Yeah, before start implementation, actually we want to make sure that means it means it should be get approved from you and Carlos, so that we can start implementing this one. So that was the
And you're
idea
asking
actually.
us specifically because we had some objections in the past regarding this
Yeah,
approach.
in the past, yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
Okay, so basically the idea is to create one lift per HA pair. So you would identify the HA pairs, you will identify if an aggregate is present in that HA pair, right? Or is that coming as part of second long-term fix? Uh,
The placement first, this is like create one lift per HA pair. That will happen in
mhm,
that also.
mhm.
But means in the second approach, we will create when the share creation is actually happen will be happening. But first one is it is happening at the SVM setup time itself.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fair to me, and that is kind of what we were asking for at the beginning when you had the other bug fix, I think. Right. So we were trying to say, like, it can't be decided. The number of nodes can't be decided at the moment. It should be, it should stay constant through the operation unless there's something that major that happened, right? Like for example, you decommissioned a node or something like that, because you were going to potentially get some flappy behavior. That's what we wanted to avoid. Uh, in case you had some nodes that were up and then they went down and then they came back up again, so some shared servers will get more lifts, some shared servers will get less lifts, and some, I mean, you may not even get a lift for an HA pair at all, which is what I recall was the implementation from the bug fix that you did have up there. So yeah, this sounds better in my opinion, and a good forward direction. I am not sure the second long-term fix really optimizes much for Manila itself, but yeah, sure. I mean, it's something that the driver can be enhanced for, right? Like I don't see a big difference as far as Manila is concerned, is what I commented on, saying, because you are going to still advertise, I mean, or rather request a particular number of lifts. Sorry, not lifts. Particular number of port assignments, and Manila will go out and get you those port assignments. and whether you use them or not, that's the optimization that you're doing. You're waiting until share creation time to actually use them. Um, so, and that sounds fine to me. I just don't know if you've thought about any unforeseen stuff, like could that port creation could that port just go unused forever? How do you reap it back? Is there any way that you can signal to the OpenStack side if that port is not used at the moment? And that it will be used later on. Right now, there is no such plumbing. The driver doesn't update any of that. The Manila network layer updates all of that. So I would actually think through that portion, because it is important, as to how do you identify these ports on the network side as well, not just in identifying, but also I think I mean large deployments like SAP, for instance. If they've told us in the past that they use these port mappings and binding profiles, because that is how their network architectures is done, where the switches that are handling those particular ports, they actually get this binding profile, um, and Manila makes a second call after that port has been bound, with specific details. So I don't know if you need to send any more details to identify a port that's currently not being used versus it'll be used in the future, and another update when it is being used and so on. So I would think through those interactions when you're looking at that optimization. But for now, this approach for me looks sane.
Yeah, looks same to me too. Yeah, I think they honestly, the long term approach, it can have a couple of other other things. Like it's it works in some sense, but yeah, I'm also concerned about communicating when this is being consumed, or doing these things on the fly. Is that information, is the information from the port that is already available, like also part of the create share call? That's things that I'm like mostly concerned about. But yeah, I agree with Gotham. I think it's insane. Yes.
Okay. So for the time being, we should start the short-term approach because a lot of customers are waiting, or like directly go more search in the long-term side.
No, in my opinion, I don't really care about the long term thing. Is kind of what I
Mhm.
was getting at. Uh, like the short term fix itself is probably what we aligned on your previous bug fix patch, right? So I don't see any this thing. So the long term fix is something that you folks would have to evaluate, um, and if it is warranted, you can propose it. But the short term thing sounds just fine to me.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Carlos and Gautam. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Meta and NetApp engineers? Taking silence as no. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing this up, Meta, and the Etherpad, and also all of the work you've been doing, and the patience with the reviews. Like it's been we've been sharing the feedback, and yeah, we were trying to reach some consensus. So I appreciate you suggesting some approaches and bringing it up in the mid cycle. Definitely helpful for us to move forward with this.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I think that takes us to the next topic, which is OpenStack client migration. And for that, we have our one and only outreach intern, Silvia, in the room. Silvia's been doing a lot of great work on OpenStack client migration to OSC proper. So we will no longer be only the OpenStack client plugin, and we will be part of the OpenStack client. That's pretty much the work Silvia's been doing. But I'll let her talk us through it and what she has been up to this cycle, and we can discuss next steps. Silvia, you around?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you, Carlos, for that. Hi, everyone. I'd like to give a quick update on the Manila CLI migration work that I've been doing this cycle, and I'll cover the progress that I've made since the last sync and what's under review and then what's going to come next. Yeah, so I've been working on migration, and the goal is to migrate Manila CLI commands from Python Manila client to Python OpenStack client, and then provide a consistent CLI experience across OpenStack services. So I've been doing the migration incrementally, and with each resource being submitted as its own patch. So including the commands and the functional tests and the unit tests. And that has been so that the reviews can be manageable. So, in terms of the progress that I have made, I have worked on several migration patch stacks. I have migrated the share network tests, including like the functional test to the OpenStack client. So that's patch 994 and 970 in case anyone wants to follow up on that or just look at what I've been doing. And then I have also done the patch 990 746, which is migrating share server commands to OpenStack client, and yeah, it has restored some missing filter options. It has updated implementation based on the review feedback. Again, that's something anyone interested can go look at. And then I've also done the migrating open share network commands, and that one is complete and it's waiting for review. And the work that I have currently started alongside the one that I've been doing includes migrating share server, the adopt, abandon, and set commands to the OSC, and then also migrating share type command to OpenStack clients. And these will also follow the same incremental migration approach as the earlier part stack. So one thing I'd want to highlight, which is like a cleanup patch that's related to this work, is there's a specific patch 997 371. It's they remove migrate share network and share server entry points from Python Manila client. So once this patch lands, there are commands that will be considered frozen in Manila client, because we are transitioning responsibility for certain commands from the Manila client to the OSC. So that patch removes the legacy entry points for the commands that have already been migrated. And so the commands should be treated as frozen in Manila client. So any person who would want to add new features or bug fixes or behavioral changes there should do it in the OSC, because it will become the single maintained implementation. Yeah, so basically that's the share network, and under it the list, show, create, delete, set, and unset commands, and then in the share server it's the list, show, and delete. My immediate priorities will be to learn the current review patches, so I'll ask Carlos and Gordon to look into that, but not just them. It could be anyone really. And then I will continue with the share type migrations, the remaining commands, and then I will begin the share server migration command part stack for the start, cancel, complete, and show. Yeah, so basically that is my update for today. And yeah, I would want to thank Gotham and Carlos, who have been reviewing my migration work and who have been supporting me as I have been doing all of this work. Thank you, and also forgive my voice. I'm struggling a little bit with a cold. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry to hear about the code. Hope you get well soon. And yeah, great presentation here. And also, I'd like to commend you for all the great work you have been doing. It's really nice to see this getting in a good shape and the migration of the comments happening. So yeah, you've been working on it and dedicating a lot of time and committed to it since like you started the internship and even before. So we do appreciate all of that effort. And yeah, I think I pulled up also a couple of changes here from what these migrations look like, right? So yeah, you mentioned you started proposing some changes for everything, and then what does it mean for Manila? I think as you've already mentioned that it means that uh, as soon as we migrate, there's no reason why we should maintain the same code in two different repositories. So, for example, if we are migrating all of the share networks commands, for example, like this one, if we implement list share network, create share network, delete share network, all as part of uh, the OpenStack client, we don't have any benefit on maintaining the same code in two places. What does that mean for us? Well, a couple of years ago, more specifically, I don't know, almost 5 years ago, when we had OpenStack Z rolling out. Um, what happened? Oh, not 5 years, but yeah, I won't get into that. So what happened was we moved away from implementing any command in the Manila client, the Manila shell client, and we started only implementing commands in the CLI plugin, in the OpenStack CLI plugin that we had in Manila. That meant we would be compatible with all of the other OpenStack services. And then it was kind of a big quote unquote change for us because it changed the way that we would implement things. It changed, like the way we would look, and then we started directing contributors from implementing and contributing new features to Manila client to the OpenStack plugin. And we also needed to tie some testing with that, which we were still working on up until a couple of months ago, and we still have some patches up pending reviews for the functional test. But now the next thing we will need to discuss is at some point, and hopefully as soon as possible, we will not be targeting any new features to the Python Manila client repository. We will mostly be focusing on maintaining and migrating our commands to the Python OpenStack client repository. There are several benefits. I think we heard from Stephen. We also chatted about those in the PTG or in previous calls. And, like it's the discoverability. We also inherit a lot of the other benefits from the OpenStack client itself. So I won't get too much into the reasoning. I think it's pretty much clear for us at this point that it is a good migration, but the migration has to happen, and at some point we need to pull the trigger on stopping the implementation, the active implementation for Python Manila client, the OSC plugin. When is the ideal time for that to happen? That is a tricky question for I think everyone to respond. The previous approach that we took was we reached parity, or we were really close to reaching parity of commands when we decided we would not be implementing any new commands. For the next release, what I would suggest that we start doing is uh, for if a command is already migrated to the Python OpenStack client, we should not accept any new commands in the Python Manila client repository or updates to that. So, for example, something like share commands and resource log commands have been migrated to the Python OpenStack client. If we are targeting any CLI changes to those commands that have already migrated, we will not be accepting those in the Python Manila client repository, and we will direct those fixes to the Python OpenStack client. For new features, if something hasn't migrated yet, that's a whole new discussion. But I would much rather us already starting the active implementation in the Python OpenStack client. And I think it's enough notice for us to do that for the upcoming release, I think. So this release, we already have a couple of features targeting Python Manila client, and some things like, for example, the share server commands. they aren't fully merged yet. In Python OpenStack client, it would be awesome if we could get everything as part of one single change, and maybe we can already go and port some of the commands, like for example the share server replication things. We can try to make it part of this as well, but that will increase the workload for this change specifically, and it's gonna bump the micro version already, which is something that we don't currently support if we do that at this point. So we'll need to wait until that change merges. But what I'm trying to say is we are very close to switching the focus of and switching the maintenance focus of the Python Manila client, or Manila commands, from the Python Manila client to the Python OpenStack client. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I'm trying to communicate with this. Um, do you have any questions about that? And I think one of the questions might be, who is going to be able to merge our code in Python OpenStack client? Manila reviewers, we don't have the workflow privileges, but Stephen and Artem, they are looking at our reviewers, and they are spotting who is a Manila reviewer. Manila core reviewers should have the +2 rights in the Python Manila Python OpenStack client project. And then Stephen and Artem should be able to pull the trigger. They are pretty active on the project, and we should just tag them on reviews whenever we think something is ready. So that would be also the thing. And some timelines also shift when we are looking at the Python OpenStack client, because sometimes, like not sometimes, like we tried landing things earlier, and we also need to actively maintain the Python OpenStack SDK. So it will be a couple of changes for us, yes, but all of those for the good, because we'll be more and more uh, closer to what the whole OpenStack community with other services are doing. So we'll follow the same procedure as Nova would do, as Cinder would do, as Glance would do. So all of those that already have a client implemented in a Python OpenStack client, they follow the same procedure, and we'll be just adopting the same procedures that they are following. I know it might sound like a big change, and like we will also need to switch the way that we look at these and we go for the reviews of the changes. But as I said, I do think it is for the best. Yeah, I'll pause here. Any questions regarding this migration for OpenStack client?
Hey, Carlos, I think I mean, you did clarify many things, but I guess we need to be a little, more formal about it, like, talk on the mailing list or something, reach all the others that probably don't attend mid-cycle meetings and weekly meetings and so on. Um, because I mean, this is a pretty significant change, pretty much like the way that you described. We did the transition from Manila to OSC in the first place, because it changes the order of patches, it changes how we do, where we push our changes even, and whether something will make a release or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And some assurances that beyond the ones that you spoke about, like, you said, as far as reviews are concerned, we have gotten promises from Stephen and Artem, who maintain the OpenStack client repository, that they will prioritize the what is that? They'll prioritize our new feature added reviews and so on. But we also got a confirmation that we can backport features. So as long as they're additive and they're not changing something else, their blast surface is limited to Manila and so on. They're generally okay to do such things, and release tag releases off of stable branches. Although you would expect somebody to be able to use a client that is released today against a server that was released 5 years ago. We're seeing that in some cases that's not reality, right? Like, because distributors and packagers determine which branch they're pulling the code from. So unless it's a feature change is merged in that particular branch, they just don't get it. They don't end up supporting a client from the future releases and so on. So if you have some change that requires a client change and it didn't make it to that release, we were discussing that sort of possibility, and that you would get it merged later on, but you would get it backported to a branch that you care about. As long as it is not touching outside of Manila, I think it'll be non-controversial. Um, that said, I think this release itself, we are seeing changes to share servers, and Sylvia is actively working on this share servers patches. This is the one that Carlos has got on his screen. So, which means that the share server replica, create share server replica, promote, etc. All of those workflows are going to be affected when we make this migration. So far, the migration is a copy and a disable, but eventually the migration will be a move. So eventually you'll not be able to add code inside Python Manila client. But even if you do today, we'll probably have to have like some sort of a flag day to say beyond this we're not going to add anything else to these files because they have officially finished moving. So there are two ways to do this: deleting the code itself, making it impossible to add new code. So that's one signal. The other is logging something really this thing, but you know. um, no, I don't think that's even a thing, because you don't want to tell end users that we have a problem with our developer. Um, so that I mean, technically, signaling in some way in the code repository itself that you shouldn't be adding code to this. Uh, you know, big ASCII art saying don't touch this file.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that approach is better, and yeah, logging might not be um, something that we should be looking at. To be honest, not like if we are logging something to a user, because like, it should be an internal detail, and they should be able to use the same command anyways, right? So
Right.
if we do the migration, nothing should change honestly. So if we compare one to the other, the usability of one to another, nothing should change, and it's pretty much actually migrating something. So yeah, I don't think the log should be added. Should be much more of a detail rather than like something we need to communicate to someone. So I'm with you there. Yep.
Okay. So in terms of signaling, I was thinking like maybe, I mean, we are deep into this release. I don't want to change our plans for this.
Yeah.
So we will carry the burden of carrying anything else that gets added into Python Manila client, into OpenStack client through this release. But at the end of this release and at the PTG, this should be a big topic for ourselves, so that we can plan future work that goes on into the in the entry cycle. So we don't create any more work for the people that are doing the migration itself.
Agreed. Yeah. I can do an email. Can write an email and communicate. We can get the word out. But yeah, I agree with you. Like for this release, it should be okay. Especially we've been making good progress, yes. But it's still there's some time to go. But if we keep adding new and new features, and I will pretty much be hurting ourselves in the migration process. So, and we don't want to slow it down. So, yep, I agree.
So what is the purpose of dropping this repo actually? They don't want to maintain the two repo? Uh, That is the purpose, or because if you're making the change here, right? Even you can run the OpenStack command and those whole things, right?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the process, the purpose of dropping at some point, it's going to be like a side effect of what we are doing right now. Like migrating. So the main thing here that we should be focusing is on the migration and getting the benefits from the Python OpenStack client. So that's pretty much what we are targeting. If we move away from the Python Manila client repository, it means that we will no longer be a plugin and a discoverable plugin, right? And it will be a very, like it should be the same user experience. That's what we are trying to notice, but it should be faster. Because we are part of the Python OpenStack client, performance should be better, and we would benefit from the all of the release process from Python OpenStack client as well, and we would be in line with what other teams are doing as well. Like we'll be maintaining the code in the same place that all of other projects are maintaining. So I think the thing that we have been focusing on is more on the benefits outweighing the whole other thing. Like that it should be a detail, and it will be a side effect for us to like we are not even maintaining code in this repository anymore. So why keep adding code? Like because we'll just and then as a default, we expect that, for example, if you are using OpenStack, right, you are very likely using other services, and you are very likely using Python OpenStack client. Even if you are not, like it should be okay to also install Python OpenStack client and use OpenStack client rather than like just using simply the Manila client, which you need to install as a different plugin. And it's plumbed in into the Python OpenStack client. So that's the thing that we are trying to get rid of. But at the same time, like deletion is merely a side effect rather than like the thing that we are focusing. We are focusing on the benefits of the migration, not the deletion itself.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos.
No problem. Any other questions? All right. Taking silence as no. So originally the invite I sent, it had the 2 hours, but we are pretty much at the hour of the Manila meeting. I don't mind staying, and I'm not sure if I should be taking that for granted. But we do have one more topic if you'd like to cover. We can one, actually two, right? I see the share server replication also being added as a new topic. The next one would be the NetApp driver auto support enhancements. Are you guys okay staying in the call for that topic? And yeah,
Yeah, I think this one we can complete, and this replication, because this Sanket, I think he left the office, and I think he left this meeting also.
yep,
So he's not there. I think this one you can means review offline.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So again, Sylvia, I appreciate all of the work. We do appreciate the work you've been doing and all of the efforts for the OpenStack client migration. It's pretty cool to see how many things you're done and the things you're discovering, the functional testing as well. We would really benefit from reviews from other reviewers. So if you haven't yet, please take a look at Sylvia's code. I've tried. I will link more of the changes there. Yeah, I think we can switch to the next topic then. Next topic being Manila NetApp driver auto support enhancements. Salaja, are you around?
Yeah, Carlos, I'm ready. Yes, yeah, I can share my screen.
Yep. Let's go ahead.
I hope you all can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically an enhancement to existing NetApp driver auto support. So we had a very limited data collection that has happened earlier. We had only the driver version and what is the filer that is being used and all. So this, and as part of this enhancement, we already have like two types of events. One is event 0 and event 1. So what we are enhancing as part of these changes are basically as part of event 0, it is currently collected at a hourly basis. So it is kind of enhanced to collect the features that are enabled, and along with the object counts as well in terms of share servers and number of shares and number of share snapshots. All those details are collected for each of the configuration. That is the first change. The second change is at event one. Currently, event one is at collected at hourly. The change now is we have moved that to a daily, 24 hours time, and the additional details that we are capturing as part of that event is. Pool capabilities, what are the pool and what is the utilization of those pools. So those are the details we are collecting. So this is what here it is mentioned. So event 0 and event 1, this is a change that has happened. Apart from basically currently whatever data that we are collecting, it is getting pushed to ONTAP EMS.log. So one is the EMS.log. As part of the same change log, we are also printing as a debug messages in the sender logs as well. So that is an additional change that is that has happened. So this is the existing change where for 0 and 1. Next thing is so this is a new file that is introduced. This is where uh, in terms of what are the configurations that are enabled on the backend stages that is collected. Second thing is the pool capability. So this is a new file that is introduced as part of the changes. Yeah, pretty much that is about it. Enhancing the existing auto support capabilities is the PR that we have, and we have the internal reviews completed, and CI is also running successfully. So this is what we wanted to bring it up here. Any questions? I can pick it up.
Thank you for proposing this. Um, are you handling communication well? Is probably one going to be my first question. Like in terms of, is there anything changing with the uh, amount of information that's going on? You'd have to probably call out what exactly is changing, and with the schedule of things. And is there operator control over this sort of thing?
Okay. No, actually, only the capabilities and count that is additional thing that we are doing it as part of in terms of live object count, in terms share snapshot, share servers. So this is like one JSON file will be pushed into the EMS log of ONTAP. So you want in terms of like number of characters that are getting pushed. How is it, Gautam?
No, not really this thing. I'm talking about, like, as an operator, what would I need to know as far as how much information has been scraped from OpenStack and being sent elsewhere, right? So and so technically, even if I had previously said or auto support is okay, because this is now adding more information, shouldn't I be opting in to that sort of behavior? That is my concern. And so spelling it out like the way you have is probably fine, saying this is what all is changing. But is there a way that the operator can limit any of that?
Yeah, we can fine tune further, like if you want to limit further. But this is the information we have discussed in terms of this is must for us in terms of identifying what is the customer deployment currently we have, and based on that we want to derive some metrics out of it in terms of usage and all. So this is like a fine tuned details that we are collecting, Gautam.
And the schedule, you're introducing an event one schedule, from what I can tell, right? This is net new stuff.
No, this is already there. We already had both event 0 and event 1. Both were at
Okay.
hourly only. In fact, event 1, which was hourly, we are now changing it to daily only, because we felt that it's more than enough to collect it 24 hours once. Whereas event 0, it is continued to be at hourly only, but only thing is additional details are now captured as part of event 0.
Can you speak about what this public DB API show resource counts was that was removed?
No, actually, what happened is initially the code was written in core side. Later on, it has been moved to purely into the NetApp driver side only. So as part of that, that additional comment was added for the reviewers. I'll update that. There is no change that has happened, removing and all. Yeah, this is the statement that you're looking at, right? This was
Yeah,
added.
so this is between patches, is it?
Yeah, it is between the patches. So later on, Anup internally asked me to correct it. So it is updated for the reviewers. I'll update this. This is not, it's an ems.py file is something newly introduced as part of this change list.
Uh, yes. Is this so? I can see that, like, in the ems.py file, you actually have a resource count that's actually reading the database, right? The Manila database.
Yeah, that is for the object counts we are reading from the database, Gautam.
And one second. I mean, technically, we do not allow any driver scraping of the database in any way. So this is basically introducing a new data set that the driver itself is reaching out into the database for. So that's no go from drivers. Period. So if you need something exposed to the drivers, you would add it in the DB API file, and that's because, I mean, it's a place where everybody can audit what's going on, and that drivers don't have to reach into the database through any other API. So this is adding that new API. So I would not do that in the driver. I would put it in the database API if you need it. And second, I'm wondering if there's a different way to do that rather than trying to reach into the database every hour. You could be causing a huge query to load and interfering with anything that might be happening in the cloud at that time.
Okay, okay. We'll revisit that and come back on that, Gautam, on that approach.
Yeah, that would be a concern. And second, I am interested in knowing what operators can do to um, turn this off. Like, there is a knob, right? There should be a knob. Is there one that is there already, and that's what you guys are enhancing?
Yeah, yeah, I think this is default on only. I don't think there is an option to turn it off that I'm aware. I can get back on that.
Yeah, so if there isn't, I would at least put one and specify it in the release note. I'm hoping this release note will look like how you will see a note from a commercial company, right? Like that you've done business with. They will tell you what is changing in their policies. For and so, because this information is technically something that an operator could find private, they would need to have that control, in my view. So you would have to explain to them that this is being used for troubleshooting, and so that is why we're plumbing it through auto support. You already have the mechanism to turn off auto support from on tap, um, uh, but here is a control for you from OpenStack, and this is all of the information that OpenStack that we are reading from OpenStack itself, and to enhance our troubleshooting information. Um, that's how I'm picturing this. And if an operator is concerned, they would use both knobs. They would turn off auto support on ONTAP. They would turn off auto support on OpenStack. Or if an operator is concerned just about OpenStack, they would still have the ability to turn off auto support on OpenStack and actually remove. I mean, and keep the auto support on the ONTAP box. Um, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying
Yeah.
to give operators the control to not um, you know funnel data that they don't want. going out, because OpenStack is deployed in vastly different configurations. I mean, there are going to be a lot of different places where this is not acceptable, or parts of it are not acceptable. Um, this could be regulated industries, etc. Um, so you don't want to get into a mode where they choose whether to deploy OpenStack or not, because something is not configurable.
Yeah, yeah, that's a valid point, Gautam. So we'll come back on that. One is like
Mm.
whether we have an option to turn it off or on. Second is, I mean, basically querying the DB, which can be more intensive and it can actually lead to performances, some other concern that is raised. I'll get back on both of them. Internally, we'll discuss and correct.
Sure. And if it helps, right, please have your internal reviews happening directly on Gerrit, so that we can actually, all participate and see what is that you folks were talking. If it has not already happened, I have not looked at this patch yet. But if it
No,
if there have been more internal discussions, please reflect it back on Gerrit.
no, actually, all the discussions are on the same review only.
Okay.
Everything is on the same channel,
Yeah,
same
then
public.
it's not really internal, right? Like all you guys are discussing on the Gerrit, then that's
No, no. Yeah, I think that that is been taken care. So everything is on the PR itself. Whatever the comments that are provided, everything on this PR itself, Gautam.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So I have a question for Gautam actually. So means providing a kind of flag actually where they want to enable and disable this one from the OpenStack point of view. So actually what we are doing actually we are adding this information in auto support bundle of the on tap. So means it's kind of means it's from the first day actually. So this is kind of enhancement of that existing feature where we are adding the little more information and pushing those back to the on tap. Now it's on tap actually. They want to, if that is enabled, then you can get that support related information from the customer, or they can share through the support bundle and those all things. So even this case also we need to enable and disable even OpenStack. We need to have that control through driver
Yeah,
AI.
and the reason, I mean, think about it from an, I mean, without knowing the on tap side of it, right? Uh,
Mm,
what does it look like for you as an OpenStack administrator or an OpenStack maintainer? Ignoring what ONTAP does, it appears to you that there is something that is scraping the data and sending it somewhere else, um, which is totally possible already through the normal operation of the driver. So I'm not debating that part, but this is a particular module in the software that's doing this. Um, so I mean, this is not. I'm not saying that this is covert. The way you're factoring this is actually the right way to do it, but make sure that it is disableable, and it's auditable by somebody that is deploying your code, um, so that it doesn't come as a surprise that, oh, all of this happened and there was a control somewhere else in an external system.
mm,
Because honestly, I mean, I don't need to trust ONTAP or whatever configuration it ships with, or what an operator does on ONTAP itself. um, the concern here is OpenStack data.
right, right. Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, thanks.
And for that information, like all of this information that you are sending, like counts and all that stuff, has been plumbed by Manila directly into OpenStack telemetry. So if you're using Ceilometer or the new, all of the OTel stack that's associated with OpenStack, you already have this information, and you could be sending it to a third-party service like a hosted Prometheus or any other thing, um, that is possible. There are lots of third-party solutions that tie into this thing. There aren't,
Mhm.
in fact, the things that do it through the driver like this. There are far less examples of that, as opposed to generic telemetry data. And the reason I think very hard about that is because that layer is very well audited, and that layer is controlled through standard operator configuration. That layer is also uh, sanitized, to make sure there is nothing secret that is going out there. So a lot of it is already built in. And so I don't see a huge value for somebody that is as an OpenStack administrator or an operator. As far as observability goes, this isn't this thing. This is giving you as NetApp some data to do your own troubleshooting and your own
Right.
analysis on how deployments are, etc. But it's not helping the administrator, in my view, because they already have different solutions to take care of the observability concern.
Yeah, means this is specifically for the NetApp driver actually to getting the all
Yeah,
ONTAP related configuration which customer is using. Means other third party tool, I think they can give you the overall means configuration for the OpenStack point of view, right? Means even they might be
correct.
using the
Yeah,
multiple storage backend and those all things. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, means our purpose is here to get the more configuration, on-tap configuration actually, which customer might be using, and that will help us to even means
So if that is the case, then
mm,
plumbing out I mean, parts of the configuration in a different way might make more sense than saying how many
mm,
backups, how much replication, etc. Right? Don't you think? Because I'm not sure, like all of that data that you are collecting in terms of the counts of the resources, etc. That stuff is
mm.
already being sent in you know through standard telemetry, and
Okay.
it happens even before it hits your driver, before and after it hits your driver actually. So we send out
Right.
alarms, we send out event notifications to telemetry. We send the object sizes, a lot more information to through
Mm,
telemetry.
right.
So I would take a look at that layer and see whether there's some way to deduplicate that, because you can scrape the telemetry data as well as your for your troubleshooting.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback, Gautam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's wrap up. Yeah, I think we've covered all of the topics. I was chatting to Vida, and then we realized that there are some changes to your policy on expiring bugs and all that. So I think we should actually discuss that, and yeah, I think we can do that in the next weekly meeting. So I'd like to thank you very much for participating on this mid cycle. It's been a really great experience in sharing this information with you, and yeah, hearing from all of the features hearing from you in all of the features you've been working on. So yeah, I do appreciate all of the time you guys spent on preparing for this and also working on the implementations. I think we do have plenty of information to go and do some reviews now on the patches. So yeah, again, thank you for participating. Thank you for all of the work you have been doing. And yeah, I think it's plenty for us to continue the reviews and bring it back on the upstream weekly meetings. So we'll resume with our review focus for the next week, and we'll spot these changes and yeah, communicate about them in the upcoming weekly meetings. We have enough material now to proceed. Yeah, let's wrap up. Let's get back to our days. Thank you for participating, and the recordings will be available in the YouTube channel. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you very much.